Negotiating is something that everybody should do, no matter what you're buying. Everybody's buying something. I mean, yeah, you can't go into the grocery store and negotiate the price. I tried, it doesn't work. You can go to the butcher. Let me tell you, I have done it. Maybe if the date is getting kind of old on the meat. I mean, I love negotiating. You know, if it was a $40 piece of meat and I got it for 20 bucks and I'm cooking it tonight, so what do I care? You know, jewelry, oh my God. The jeweler I go to, I put him to bed. I don't have to negotiate with him anymore. Whatever the price is in his store, I'm gonna get a minimum of 50% off, whatever that price is. That's the markup on jewelry. I read the comments, and a lot of people have questions about negotiations. Takes a long time to say the word. You know, negotiations are like fishing. You throw the hook and the bait in the water, and then, you know, you get that fish to start biting that worm, baby. And once they start biting it, you know, you're tugging, and they're trying to eat the worm, and you're tugging, and they're trying to eat the worm, and the bigger the fish, the more of a fight you got. But eventually, you reel that fish in, baby, and you got the property for the price you wanted to pay. That's what it's all about. It's a process. Now, sometimes there ain't no room or time for negotiation. Sometimes you gotta lay a quick cash deal down, and that's what the person wants, and you gotta pay it. If it's a good deal, you'll pay it. You find a piece of property you like. The first thing you gotta do is tie it up. How do you tie it up? You write up a contract. But before you do, you gotta negotiate. And then there's different steps in negotiating. You do some negotiating in the front, you can do some negotiating in the middle, you can do some negotiating in the end, okay? We'll get to that part after we get to the front. The front part is, you make them an offer, all right? You can write up a contract, you can write up an LOI. I'm so simple sometimes, you know, I'll do it back and forth on my phone on an email or a text. But the point is, you gotta try. You need to find out what that seller's rock bottom number is. What will it take for him to sign on a dotted line and adios amigo? That's your job. Typical deal. Guys at $1 million for something you want to buy. My rule of thumb is I'm always going to come in with 20% less. Okay? Because that, in a normal real estate world, that was my practice. That's if I really like the property and I'm even happy at the price he's selling, maybe. I still always try to come in 20% less. That's on a decent deal. Now, if it's a hairy deal and it needs a lot of work, well, then it's a whole nother ball of wax. Okay, he wants $1 million. You figure out how much the place needs. You went around, you looked at the place, oh man, I'm gonna spend about 50 grand here. Well, fine, if you're gonna spend 50 grand, tell him 100. You gotta have a cushion. You gotta have a safety factor. You gotta leave room to negotiate. If it does need 50 grand and you just say I need 50 grand, you may not get the 50 grand. You didn't leave no room to negotiate. You know, I might ask for a credit on something because I know that roof needs to be replaced in 2 years. Well, in 2 years, I'm gonna have a $100,000 roof bill. But I'm gonna negotiate now when I buy it to try to ease the pain on that roof bill. And in 2 years, I'll have to fork out 100 grand and pay for a new roof. But get the damn money now, or use it as a tool to get the property for less money now. It's all about buying it for as cheap as you can. That's the buy side. The sell side is a whole nother subject. We may have to do a whole nother thing on sell side. Let me know if you want to do video on negotiating and dealing on the sell side, okay? What else? So, we're gonna negotiate, okay? If your agent isn't willing to go back and forth, okay, if something's $1 million and you're at 800, he's at $1 million, and he comes down to 950 and you go up to 850, you know, it's a game you gotta play. So if your agent ain't willing to play that game, then he ain't the right agent. So what else? My shirt's too tight. You need a good agent to negotiate for you. You want that middleman anyway, okay? When you got a middleman, for some reason, it doesn't get personal. You're not dealing with the owner direct. Let the agents do that. That's their job. And that other agent is gonna push his seller to selling because he knows he wants to close that deal. So he's gonna push and he's gonna work with us too in a way because he's got, you know, something in it for this deal closing. So anyway, work with your agents, go back and forth, I don't care how many times. Okay, there's no such thing as insulting anybody. Yeah, I was insulted by that offer. We're doing business here, it's numbers. It has nothing to do with personal feelings. Because typically, if you're trying to buy something cheaper, you're probably giving them something too in return. It means you're gonna buy it quicker, you're gonna buy it as is, you're not gonna have financing contingencies, you're gonna limit your inspection contingencies to where they don't go out forever. You're gonna give them a tight deal, nice and tight. So, hey, how you doing? So that's a story, okay? Negotiate. Never pay the asking price, because they are probably already built in a cushion to where they're happy to negotiate. They're willing. They know they're going to have to negotiate. Everybody's got a rock bottom price, okay? You just got to find out what's important to them. Find out what their needs are. What's good? What is the seller really going to do? What is he looking for? A quick out? He doesn't care, whatever. Who knows?
Okay. Have you ever been insulted?
Have I ever been insulted?
By the price.
Listen, I respect somebody that lowballs my property, okay? Because it shows they're trying to get a good deal. They're not, they don't want to take a lot of risk. I mean, how could I be insulted by somebody doing the same thing that I'm doing? I respect that person. So you can't insult me. I mean, the comments that say, can I borrow your house for $1? All right, that's not an insult. I get a kick out of it. I always counter an offer, okay? If somebody makes me an offer, I don't care if it's $1 million, but I'm gonna tell them, listen, this is where I'm at. To me, all that matters is I'm here, where are they at, okay? Now, if we're a little far apart by a few $1 million, we can make a deal probably. If we're 5 or 10 million apart, it ain't gonna happen. I tell people all the time, I texted a guy yesterday, a broker, a great guy, I love the guy. He sells hotels. He sent me an offer on a hotel I got for sale, and I text him back, don't waste your time, because I don't want to see him waste his time. Best deal I ever made in my life was the day I negotiated to get Carla. When I negotiated Carla, the deal was I had to take 15 other people with her. But it worked out because they all helped me have a business. So all I can tell you is you got to play hard. If you're playing a game, you're playing hardball, baby. But sometimes you can't, Every deal's different. But you should always try when the opportunity comes up, you negotiate, take your time, don't rush it, and play the game. You might save yourself hundreds of thousands of dollars or millions, okay? You never know. If you're in the middle of a deal right now, go to benmallah.com, consult with Ben, and let's talk about negotiating your deal, all right? Believe me, talking to me for 10 or 15 minutes over a deal you're in the middle of doing, it ain't gonna hurt. It's only gonna help. But if you're unsure about a deal you're doing and you think you're paying a little too much or you don't think you squeezed the guy enough, then go to Consult with Ben and let's talk about your deal. I love talking about deals. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm filming. What do you want? I'm home. Where? Press the button on the fucking, on the box and I'll buzz you in, and then I'm in the guest house by the gym down the hall. Bye. Leave a comment. Rafal wants to know what you want to talk about. So tell us. The more people that talk about the same subject, we'll talk about it. Leave a comment.
Adios, amigos.
Adios, amigos.